Hey everybody, it's Karla Jarvis, your favorite nurse practitioner from Jarvis Family Medical Services, and we're back today talking all about CBD. I know you all are like, every single corner you see a CBD, a hemp place. They're talking about it on the news. They're talking about it in politics. Everybody's wondering what is CBD. Well, today I brought two guests that I'm so excited about. One is the district manager from Oxygen.com, which is a CBD product line, and the other one, her name is Sonia Campbell, and she's right here from Louisville, Kentucky, and she's going to talk about her own personal experience in healthcare and then how she incorporated CBD. So I know you're like, well, Karla, what does this have to do with lifestyle and healthcare? Well, when you all come to me, a lot of people come with different medical conditions, anxiety, post-traumatic stress syndrome, depression, all these things. And then you all want me to go, well, when I went to this doctor, they gave me this pill. Then when I went to this doctor, they gave me this pill. But now I have gained weight. I've lost my hair. I lost my libido. That's your biggest one. I lost my libido. And you're like, what can I take all natural to help me with these different medical conditions? So that's when I started doing my own little research into CBD products. So as you know, when you come up into my office, a lot of patients know for the last 3 years, I have different ones. I have the drops underneath the tongue. I have the pills that you can take, the capsules, and then I have some bombs. But now we're going even further. So I found a new company that I really, really like. And I'm not saying that all the companies are not right. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, for what I am doing with my patients, I kind of found another CBD organization that was a little bit more of what I was looking for. And the reason being is I have a lot of professionals. I have bus drivers. I have people that work at Ford and GE and people that work in the healthcare that will have to do a drug screen. And they cannot always take CBD products that contain THC. And I wouldn't want anybody to lose their job because they are in a lot of pain or they have a medical condition that I'm trying to give them a product for. So that's the reason why I wanted to choose products that was more industrial strength and that does not have THC in it, but will still give my patients the outcome that they need. So I'm going to first introduce Mr. Terrence Moore that came all the way down here from Michigan, which, for real, I don't know if you're a Detroit Lions fan, but I'm a Bears fan.
I'm actually not a Lions fan. I'm originally from Ohio, so I'm a Browns fan.
Still.
We're looking up a little bit this year.
Okay, yeah, but still, no matter what goes on, the Bears is always going to be the best. But because you have something that I like, I'm going to go ahead and be nice to you today.
Yeah, it's not personal, it's business.
That's right, all the time. So we had an event, you and I, on Friday night in my office called a Black Friday sale. And you brought different products with you, and then we let patients try them. But tell me what's different about Oxygen as opposed to some of the other brands.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things with Oxygen, we try to make sure that we provide a quality product for the customer. Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, THC is a huge concern, especially for individuals if they have, drug testing or things that they have to worry about. And so with our products, we make sure that quality is at the top of the list. Mm-hmm. And so we make sure that we follow, certain extraction processes. We actually manufacture and test our products in FDA-registered facilities.
That's it.
Even though the FDA doesn't regulate the industry, we try to take the extra steps to make sure that we have a quality product and people know exactly what it is that they're getting. And
when you say that, I don't mean to interrupt you, but people need to understand, it's a lot of people selling CBD products out of their garages and back alleys. What makes your product different is what you just said, FDA. So if something was to happen to somebody, we can trace it back using the serial number on those products to see exactly was it something that was contaminated, what happened, so we can get to the problem and have a solution. People don't understand how important that is.
Yeah, we try to be completely transparent with everything that we're doing. Like you said, CBD is popping up everywhere. It's
everywhere.
Gas stations, liquor store, you name it, you can find CBD. And so we actually make our certificate of analysis, or COA, available online. Every product is labeled, it has a batch number, and you can go right online, pull it up to see exactly what was in that product and the third-party lab testing associated with it.
See, and that's what I'm talking about, y'all. We're not bringing anybody in here that's bootleg. You know, if I tell you about it, that means I did my research on them, and I want to make sure it's best for the patient. Another thing that Terrence and I talked about was people don't realize that most of these THC droplets that you take underneath the tongue are made with MTC oil, which is coconut oil. So if you go to some place like one of these mom and pop shops, those people are not really healthcare providers. So you go in there and say, hey, I got anxiety. Which one of these products? They're going to give you a 500 milligram or 1,000 milligram or a 2,500. But they're not asking you the key question. Do you have a true nut allergy? If you do, you cannot take the drops. They are made with MCT oil. I cannot stress that enough. So we talked about that, and Oxygen actually has an alternative product, which is a capsule, which is not made with the MCT. Yes, it may not work in 3 seconds like the drops, but they have this spray, honey. It's called PDQ, and I mean, it stands for pretty darn quick. But when I tell you I sprayed it on these knees and ankles, I want to say the cuss word because it's pretty DAMN quick. But we can't say that on Sunday morning, but it works. So for the people who cannot take the drops, they can take the capsules, and then we have a spray, we have a cream, we have a lotion, we have everything to go with it. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, we have a full suite of products, you know, a lot of topicals, especially if an individual has concerns around, even if you talk about there's THC free, you know, people are still very cautious. And so I tell people start off with the topicals. You can still get some relief that way. And then at the same time, with that nut allergy, like you mentioned, you got to be careful. MCT oil, every CBD product is going to have a carrier oil when you're taking it. And so you'll see some products out there that use grapeseed oil, which is a good alternative. You can find a brand that uses grapeseed oil. But all of our oral products do contain MCT oil. So we try to be very careful and cautious. Our focus is really on education.
Yes.
And so we try to help people understand the products that can help them. It's not just about making a sale. It's more so about getting people products that are going to work for them.
Yes, and that's why I bring in Miss Sonia Campbell. Now, she's a local native of Louisville, Kentucky. Good morning this morning.
Good morning.
And so what I like about her was she was the person that originally brought me the product. And she told me her story, which is amazing. Can you give them a little bit about how you came to taking CBD products?
Well, I did the research on CBD products, and my story is I have sickle cell anemia, which is very excruciating pain.
Yes, it
is. You
is.
never know when it's going to hit your body. So I started trying the tincture to relax and help my overall health. But one of the things that I really enjoy is the pain cream. Sometimes pain just pops up. Whatever day it decides it's going to attack my
That's
body.
right.
So I use the pain cream because I can't use everything because I have sickle cell anemia. So that's one of the things that I focus on. I can't take any kind of pill, so the pain cream really helps.
And when you say sickle cell, we have such a large population in Louisville, Kentucky. And the sad thing is you've been suffering since you were born.
Yes.
And so therefore they have gave you high doses of medicines all your life. And sometimes, unfortunately, when you go into an ER and you're having a crisis, they look at you more as a drug addict or a drug seeker when it's really not that. When your blood is sickling, that's a pain that you can't even explain.
Correct.
So the part that we want to do and tell people is you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to drive all the way up to the Mayo Clinic. We have something here. We're not saying that it's the only thing that you can take. You might need to be hydrated. You may have to take supplements. You may have to do other things. But to kind of help them keep the crisis a little bit less than them having them back to back to back, CBD is an alternative to treatments.
Correct.
So when you first got into it, if you went into a regular mom and pop store or a gas station, was there anybody to tell you, hey, you go in and say sickle cell? First of all, did they even understand what sickle cell was?
No.
That's number one. Number two, when you said, okay, I have a chronic medical condition, which product is good for me? Which amount should I start with? Could anybody even tell you that?
No, not really. They just said, well, just try this and see what happens.
Right. And then, like you said, well, technically I can't take certain things. So you took it upon yourself to say, look, I want to be an advocate to my community and myself and my family. You went through a class. You now want to really get into the business. You start selling it. You start promoting it. You start taking it. Everything, which is what people need to do. I take everything that's in my office. How can I tell you about it if I don't do it? From the weight loss to the hormones to certain medicines I use, migraine injections, GLP-1s for diabetes. I do everything on myself first to see how it affects me before I then tell somebody else.
Yes, and that's what I started doing myself. I have to try it. If I believe in it and I try it, then it works.
See, that's why I love this. And what I also love is that you coming in and we're not saying that it's for everybody. So, Terrence, you all started what, 500 milligrams or 250?
Correct. We have a 500. We actually used to have a 250, but we decided to phase it out.
Okay. Yeah, because really, I wouldn't use that on anybody because most people have all tried medications before. Once the system has been altered, it's kind of hard to get them regulated on such a small amount. So you started 500, and then what's the highest amount?
We go up to 1,500 milligrams.
Okay, which is very, very rare to have a 1,500 with no THC in it. People don't realize that. A lot of my products that I have that are 1,500 and 2,500 milligrams, they do have THC. But those are for people that really have a lot of PTSD, anxiety, a lot of excruciating arthritis, rheumatoid, and osteo. You can't start them off with 500. I would start maybe a kid with ADHD with 500, but again, they cannot have THC. But when you get more to the adults that have been through the system and had so much, you want them to have a higher dose. But with their job, they can't have THC. So with you bringing this to Louisville and really showing us a difference, because in everybody's mindset now, it has to have THC to be effective. And you telling them, no, it don't.
Yeah, there's some people who swear by the THC.
Yeah, we know.
For a lot of different reasons.
Yes, we know that too.
And so that is out there. There are some studies that also will talk about how THC can enhance the properties of the other compounds that are there. However, like you said, when you get into some of those higher dosage amounts, when you get into the 1,500 milligram range, a lot of products are what we call full spectrum or whole plant. Anytime you see products that are labeled that way, really there's likely going to be traces of THC there. It's a little bit more costly and expensive to use a form of CBD called isolate when you start to extract and separate some of those cannabinoids away from each other. And so the price differentiation starts to jump a little bit. So people will find stuff on Amazon or in stores in different places. They look at the price point, they say, I'm getting 2,500 or 3,000 milligrams, but you have to be careful, because there's a reason why the price may be there.
Right. And you all cannot be fooled. It's a lot of people out here fooling you with these labels, and you have to do your homework. Now, it's wonderful that you just said that. Tell them about the isolate. What do you mean? Because there's so many people that are they don't understand this world. So you got to tell them at their level, what do you mean by that, and what does it affect in the body?
Yeah, so there's several different chemical compounds inside of the cannabis plants. Hemp and marijuana, basically two different species of the plant.
Can you please say that again? They are two different.
Two different species based on the way that they're grown and cared for and cultivated. And so THC is really the component that has the stigma. That's what causes the high effect. And so there's several different chemical compounds inside the plant. When I say isolate, through the extraction process, and you have to use a CO2 extraction, so you're really looking for a company that uses that to maintain the purity of the ingredients. But when you do the extraction, you can separate those chemical compounds. Now again, it's costly to do so, as opposed to just taking everything that's in there. And so isolate is really what you're looking for if you want to make sure that a product is THC free. And all that means, just as isolate as the word suggests, they've isolated the CBD, that compound, away from the other cannabinoids in the plant.
Okay.
Only using the cannabidiol, which is what CBD is the actual scientific name for.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. And he got like a suite of products. So Miss Sonia, you brought me in this tea. And you said, girl, I'm telling you, we have to detox the body. And I took it because I put a lot of people on weight loss. And I tell them we got to detox the liver, right? We need in order to lose weight.
Correct.
That tea is really good, and it made me feel wonderful.
It makes me feel good. I enjoy the taste. I don't have to add any sugar. It's delicious.
Now, when I do all my other teas, and I don't want to name those teas, but sometimes they can be a little bit nasty, a little bit bitter, and then that won't make me want to do it every week or however the directions are. But I also sent my sister-in-law some coffee. Honey, they have coffee, and my sister-in-law said this was one of the best coffees she ever tasted. And then you all have like different flavors of the coffee.
Yes.
So what is the idea of the coffee? It helps with weight loss.
Yes.
And then it helps with detoxing the body.
Yes.
It helps with anxiety and depression. And we know that everybody going for that coffee to give them that up and go, right?
Right.
But it won't make them sleepy either.
No.